From the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C.
Hi, everybody. On behalf of the Library of Congress, welcome to the 15th edition of the National Book Festival. I'm Abby Nolan, and I review children's books for the Washington Post, which has been a charter sponsor and enthusiastic supporter of the festival all of these years. I am very honored to be introducing Rachel Renee Russell, who has created an empire out of the Dork Diaries series. In a recent Washington Post magazine story, Michael Kovna described the appeal of these illustrated novels. They're very funny, and their characters are very relatable, as well as how Rachel Renee Russell has been able to incorporate the work of her talented daughters, Nikki and Erin, to help her create the books and connect with the readers who love them. The series began a little more than 6 years ago with this book, Tales from a Not-So-Fabulous Life, which was an instant hit. This June, the latest book, Tales from a Not-So-Dorky Drama Queen, was published. So now more than 20 million books are in print in more than 30 countries around the world, and I think there's a movie in the works. I'm sure you are eager to hear from the empire builder herself and her daughters, who now live in Northern Virginia. Please help me welcome Rachel Renee Russell.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, can you hear me? Okay, that's a little bit better. Yes. Anyway, I'm happy to be here, and as you've heard, I'm probably one of the proudest, happiest moms in the state of Virginia because I get to work with my daughters 8 hours a day, and I'm the boss. See, for all of you kids out there, at your age, you have to do what your mom and dad tells you to do, but when you get this age, they don't listen to you anymore generally, but because I'm the boss, they still have to listen to me. So anyway, directly to my right is Nikki, and Nikki is the illustrator of Dork Diaries. I started the series drawing it and working on it by myself, and Nikki joined me at about book 3, and Erin joined at about book 3.5. So if the series gets really, really good at about book 3 and 3.5, you know why, because it improved once they both came over to join me. So the really cool thing we're going to do while the presentation is occurring is Nikki is going to dorkify people. Okay. And if you're not familiar with our term dorkification, that means she's going to look out into the audience and she's going to select random girls and boys and draw them in the Dork Diaries character style. And then you'll be able to take it home with you. Yay! You're all set, Nikki? Okay. So again, she's going to pick random people. And then at the very end, probably when we have maybe about 10 minutes left, we'll show them to everyone and see if you can guess who she actually drew from the audience. Okay. Can I see your book? Our newest book is Dork Diaries, Book 9, and this is what it looks like. How many of you have read any of the Dork Diaries books? You can raise your hand. Yay, a lot of people did. Very good. Well, Dork Diaries, Book 9 is really, really special because our main character, Nikki Maxwell, has a diary, and the whole entire series is basically a set of Nikki Maxwell's diaries, and she's writing about all of the stuff that happens in her life. Her family, sister Brianna, school, her crush, her best friends, and all of that cool stuff is in all of the Dork Diaries books 1 through 8. The thing that happens in book 9 is that Mackenzie, who's the mean girl, and she's kind of a bully too, but Mackenzie steals Nikki Maxwell's diary, and Mackenzie actually writes in the diary. So I'd say probably about, this much of the book is Mackenzie Hollister, and she is writing in the diary and explaining her side of a lot of the events that have happened in all of the other books. So it's a really special book, and it's really interesting and really entertaining because we get to hear the whole life at Westchester Country Day from Mackenzie Hollister's point of view. So, to give you a little teaser today, we're going to have a reading from Dork Diaries Book 9 from my daughter Erin, and Erin is also the co-author of Dork Diaries.
So, who's ready for story time? Okay. Here we go. As punishment for what Mackenzie did to me, she has to clean the bug-infested showers in the girls' bathroom. Unfortunately, I learned today that the bug problem in there is really bad. I was sitting behind Mackenzie in French class, finishing up my homework, when I noticed there was something stuck in her hair. At first, I thought it was one of those fancy designer barrettes she loves to wear. But when I took a closer look, I realized it was actually a gigantic, dead stink bug. Ew! That's when I tapped her on the shoulder. Mackenzie? Excuse me, but I just wanted to let you know that... Nikki, why are you even talking to me? Just mind your own business, she said, glaring at me like I was something her spoiled dog Fifi had left in the grass in her backyard. Okay, then I won't tell you there's a huge dead stink bug in your hair, I said very calmly. Besides, it kind of looks like an ugly barrette. And it totally complements your eye color. What? Mackenzie gasped, and her eyes got as big as saucers. She whipped out her makeup mirror. OMG! OMG! There's a big, black insect with prickly legs tangled in my golden tresses! Eek! She shrieked. Then she started jumping around hysterically and shaking her hair to get it out. She had a complete meltdown. You're making it worse. Now it's even more tangled in there. Just sit down and chillax, I said as I grabbed the tissue and reached for her hair. Get away from me, she screamed. I don't want two disgusting creatures in my beautiful hair. Stop acting like a spoiled brat, I shot back. I'm just removing the bug for you. See? That is disgusting. Get it away from me. You're welcome, I said, glaring at her. Don't expect a thank you from me. It's your fault that bug was in my hair. It probably got in there from those nasty showers I'm being forced to clean. Suddenly, she folded her arms and narrowed her eyes at me. Or maybe you put it in my hair to try to ruin my reputation. I bet you want everyone to think my house is overrun with disgusting bugs again. Mackenzie, I think your lip gloss must be leaking into your brain. That is ridiculous. How could you put that nasty bug in my hair? I'm getting sick just thinking about it. Ugh. Then she covered her mouth and mumbled something, but I couldn't understand a word. Help! I think I'm gonna throw up! Although we were in French class, it definitely didn't sound like she was speaking French. By the time I finally figured out what she was saying, it was too late. Desperate, she took off running towards the wastebasket in the front of the room. But unfortunately, she didn't make it. I could not believe that Mackenzie Hollister, the queen of the CCPs, actually threw up in front of the entire French class. She was like a bad car accident. I really didn't want to see her covered in puke from head to toe, but I couldn't stop staring. I have never seen her so embarrassed, so humiliated, so vulnerable, so messy. I was both shocked and surprised when I was suddenly overcome with overwhelming emotion. I had never, ever felt more sorry for a human being in my entire life. It seemed like such a grave injustice that the janitor had to clean up the horrible mess that Mackenzie had made. Sometimes life is so unfair. Thank you.
So I'd like to give you a little update on what's been going on with Dork Diaries. We just finished Dork Diaries book 10. It's hard to believe we're on our 10th book. And it's called Dork Diaries Tales from a Not-So-Perfect Pet Sitter. And in Dork Diaries book 10, Nikki ends up having to take care of 7 puppies. And because her mom has just gotten new furniture and carpet, her mom says, no way, you cannot take care of any dogs. We can't have a dog, not even temporarily. So Nikki goes behind her back and sneaks the 7 puppies into her house, and a lot of craziness ensues. So anyway, that's kind of a little summary of Dork Diaries book 10. That will be released October 20th, and it is a hot pink. We don't have a copy of it, but it's a hot pink. That's the color for book 10, is a really bright hot pink color. And then in April, we'll be launching a brand new series. It's called The Misadventures of Max Crumbly, and we have a boy main character this time, but there's still lots of cool girl characters in that book as well. So if you're a Dork Diaries fan, hopefully you'll like The Misadventures of Max Crumley. She's kind of a lot like Nikki Maxwell. Crazy, wacky, and seriously funny. So that series will be coming out in April. The coolest thing that's happened in my career yet is that in tentatively August of 2016, there's going to be a Dork Diaries movie! So it's being produced by the Hollywood studio Lionsgate of Twilight fame, Divergent, and Hunger Games. I can't forget that one. Yes. So we feel that we're in really, really good hands, and we're excited to see what Lionsgate does and how they bring Dork Diaries and Nikki Maxwell's world to life on the screen. And it will be real life actors versus cartoons. So we'll have actors playing all the characters and all of that. So that's kind of a summary of what's been going on. Can you think of anything else? Nope, that's it? Okay. So at this point, I think I'm going to open it up to questions. I think there's a microphone here. If you have a question, you can line up here. There's a second microphone in the aisle there. So if there are any questions, and you can ask a question, I'd be happy to answer. Erin, my co-author, can answer, and Nikki, our illustrator, would be happy to answer questions. So feel free. I figure this will be more interesting than me just, talking. Well, I can tell you this. I can brag a little bit. At this point, we have sold over 20 million copies worldwide, and I'm happy about that. Because when I first started the book series, actually it was just, I think they purchased 2 books. When I first started working on book 1, I thought if I could just sell 20,000 copies, my literary agent said we might be able to go to our second contract, because they purchased 2 books, but we had to sell minimally 20,000 of the first book for our publisher, Simon & Schuster, to consider there being a second book. So I'm like, 20,000, 20,000, 20,000. And here it is, like 6 years later, and we're at like 20 million. In my wildest dreams, I would have never, ever, ever, believed something like this could happen. And I am not an author by trade. I am a consumer bankruptcy attorney. So all of you out there, that, are in real I won't say real, but are in professions that, and you have aspirations to be an author, go for it. I did, and if I did it, you can do it. We're also in 36 languages worldwide. So, okay, we'll take a few questions, and then the last 5 minutes, we're going to look at Nikki's dorkifications. So how are you coming? We have 10 minutes left, so. Okay. Let's start over here.
Is your new series also going to be a diary?
The new series is also a diary. Yes, it is. The Adventures of Max Crumley is Max Crumley's diary. And he's just as crazy and wacky as Nikki Maxwell. And in book 10, Tales from a Not-So-Perfect Pet Sitter, you will get to meet Max Crumbly. So if you read Dork Diaries book 10, we have he's been written into that Dork Diaries book. Okay, on the other side.
How do you make a book with a hardcover?
How do I make a book with a hardcover? My publisher, Simon & Schuster, does all of that, and I'm not exactly sure, but I will tell you this. I and Erin write the chapters, and then we give the chapters to Nikki, and then Nikki illustrates them, and she gives them back to us, and we go, wow, this illustration is so good, let's go back and rewrite all these chapters. So we rewrite it again, and then once we're done, we send it to Simon & Schuster, and they make the hardcover. So that's kind of how it goes. But thank you. Yes?
Who's your favorite character except for Nikki?
My favorite character would have to be Crazy Brianna. Brianna is Nikki's bratty little sister. She's really not bratty. She's just very active, I guess. But yeah, I would say Brianna. Brianna's lots and lots of fun. And Brianna is, I would say, between my two daughters, Nikki Maxwell would be Erin, and Brianna would be Nikki. Okay.
How long does it take you to write one book?
How long it takes me to write one book? With Erin and Nikki helping, it takes about 5 to 6 months from start to finish. So we do 2 books a year, and we can squeeze it all in. Yes?
Did you name, is Nikki Maxwell named after Nikki, your daughter?
She sure is. Yes, she sure is. I asked Nikki, can I use your name in my book? And she says, sure, Mom, go right ahead. Yep.
Where did you get the inspirations to start the Dork Diaries?
I got the inspiration to start Dork Diaries from my daughters, and I call Erin Dorky Daughter number 1 and Nikki Dorky Daughter number 2. And a lot of what you read in Dork Diaries actually happened. I'd say probably like, 70% of it? And we take it and, there's fiction that we combine and throw in there too, but a lot of what you're reading actually happened to Erin and Nikki, so they are my inspiration for it. And over here.
Where did you get the idea to make it a diary?
As a child, I loved diaries. My very favorite book when I was little was Harriet the Spy. I really enjoyed that, and then I think by the time I got to high school, I read The Diary of Anne Frank, and then as an adult, I enjoyed Princess Diaries. So I've always had a thing for diaries. I love the first person and getting into the writer's head and all. I just love diaries, and that's my favorite style to write in, is diaries. Yes?
Where does Nikki Maxwell live?
Nikki Maxwell lives in Westchester County, New York. I've never been there. I just like the name. Somebody's from here. Yay, Westchester County, New York. Yes. It sounded like a cool place. So I think it's supposed to be really nice, too. Yes?
How do you deal with writer's block?
Oh, it's the worst. I usually will eat popcorn, chocolate cake. I go on the internet.
Play fetch with Mika.
Oh, I have a Yorkie. I throw her stuffed animals out of my office, and she goes down the hall. I go to TMZ and read gossip. So yeah, I just usually try. The best thing to do is just relax and try not to freak out because your deadline's next week. But as a writer too, if you write, even if it's just silly stuff that's not that good, if you just write, and push through it, then that's probably the best way to get through it. Chocolate cake is my favorite though. Yes?
How old is your pet Chorky?
My pet Yorkie is about 6 years old. Okay. Yes?
Why did you decide to create Dork Diaries?
I wanted to write a book that kids would enjoy, and they always tell you, it might be cliche, but they say write what you know. And since I've been a mom most of my life, and I love being a mom, I thought I know a lot about Erin and Nikki, so I chose them as the topic. And I did ask their permission, right? So anyway, a lot of what my experiences as a mom and dealing with, they were slightly bullied in school. So we were able to take those negative experiences, add humor to them, and then put them out there. And then kids, not only in the United States, but all over the world, are enjoying the books. So we have like 4 minutes left, so we're going to do our, you need to finish that one up? Okay, well, let's take a couple more questions as she finishes that up, and then we're going to do our dorkifications. I think we're on this side. Oh, that side? Wherever.
What do you do if you get a rejection letter? Because I want to know, because my mom wrote a book and she sent it to Chronicle Books and she hasn't gotten a letter back yet.
Yeah, and you want to hear something really, really strange that I don't tell people? But my first book was rejected. Yeah, I sent out a book, and guess what it became? Dork Diaries book, was it 2 or 3? Not so popular. Oh, Dork Diaries book 2. Two Tales from a Not So Popular Party Girl. And I was like, all you guys rejected it, and now it's selling. So tell your mom to keep trying, because I took my Dork Diaries book 2. It was another character, another school, another city, basically the same kind of plot, and everybody's like, no. So when I went back and revamped it and made it better, and then when that book 1 got accepted, then I slipped my other manuscript in there, and that became Dork Diaries book 2, Tales from a Not So Popular Party Girl. So I think we need to stop and get these. Okay, so we're going to hear from Nikki now. So thank you guys. You can have a seat and. Okay, we have 2 minutes left. Okay, you want to turn that around? Yeah, watch that.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this first dorkification belongs to a young lady over to the left in the front with a little purple strap across her purse there that says, what does her purse say there? I can't. Oh, Chicago! I love that city! Come on up! This next one belongs to a young lady toward the back in a red shirt with white polka dots.
She got someone way in the back. Nikki's good, isn't she? Help me tear this off. Whoops.
Not to worry, we have some tape. We can tape that up for you. Okay, there we go.
And you can stop here, and then we'll have you stand right next to the other young lady over here, and be careful on the stage. There we go.
Okay, next we have a gentleman who is also seated in the front with a shark on his shirt, a blue shark on his shirt. Come on up. Oh, Mommy.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just destroying these, aren't I?
It's okay. We have tape.
Got it?
All right, and last but most certainly not least, because our session is kind of on the short side today, we have a young lady who is over here to the right with glasses and a purple shirt. Come on up and get your dorkification, please. All righty. There you go. You're very welcome.
Dear, yeah, if you keep, sweetheart, if you can come up here and you want to stand. You want to show everybody your dorkification. There you go. Okay, let's give our dorkification people a big round of applause. Very good. Okay, thank you guys. Now, I believe we're going to be doing a book signing at, is it 3 o'clock? I think 3 o'clock, so hopefully we'll see you guys all there. But always let your inner dark shine through. Thanks.
This has been a presentation of the Library of Congress. Visit us at loc.gov.